Hey, everybody, and welcome to the e-commerce show. My name is Brendan Wagner, founder of waxcrumbles.com, the anti-suicide candle company, and your co-host. And with me today, this lovely blonde lady on one of these sides.
One of the sides.
One of the sides.
I'm Becky J. Anderson from BeckyJAnderson.com and ProductBizMadeEasy.com. And we are excited to be here to bring you lots of fun stuff today on Brandon's birthday.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The kid is finally not a teenager. We can say he's hit his 20s. So we're celebrating today by giving away the goods.
I woke up today and I had like this scratchiness to my throat, and I was like, second puberty hit me. It's because I was sick last week, but that was so funny.
Oh boy, you're too
so
fun.
We're going to be talking about stories today because I have a lot of stories and you have a lot of stories, and I brought props to talk about, but I sent out an email talking about your craftiness.
What did you say?
So I wrote out that you started a company with basically like $10. And you sold like, what was it, 10,000 units of soap?
Oh, you're so funny. On that story, I forgot. I've told you all my story.
You spill things and then you forget. Yeah.
That's a really good story. But what we probably should do is save that for later in the show, because what we're really going to talk about today is how to start a business on a shoestring budget. And that's one of the stories that we'll get.
So if you want to hear about it, you have to stick around and share
that. You will. I have lots of tricks, tips, and hacks on how to present mock-ups to buyers.
We have recordings of the course that we did together that we were still working on. And it's basically me going, you did what? That's about half of it. And we've had like 3 hours of content. And we just going, you did not do that.
Yeah, I did.
So we're going to have to fit it into 1 hour today. So we don't have a 10, like me do 10, you do 10. We're just opening up the conversation. So how did you want to start? Because you said you had some hacks, and I have some hacks. But
I have lots of hacks. And it's a question that we both get asked a lot. How I want to own my own business. I want to start my own business. How do I start a business on a shoestring budget if I don't have a lot of money? Or a lot of
everyone thinks they're alone on that too. I always get the private messages, like they're afraid to post in the group, or they're afraid to like open the conversation up. Everyone is actually on a shoestring budget. Everyone has bills to pay. They have one income or two incomes, and they just having a business. That's like, it's a gamble. It is a gamble. And most people think they're alone in that. No, everyone starts with like shoestring budget idea.
Yeah. So would you say, if someone asked you that question, would you tell them to go to Etsy, or would you tell them to go to eBay or Amazon first if they don't even have the $39 to do Shopify?
So my thing is, once you've started a business and once you did it right, you can do it again, and you know that you're going to get your return. Like, you have that faith. It's not even faith anymore. It's like a really, really strong faith. And I get that. And I'm like, I could tell them to do exactly this. I could tell them to get their designs done. I could do their damn designs. I could tell them to set it up on Shopify, to pay for MailChimp, to put $200 into it and get like a 20 times return off the bat, or to put $20 into it and get like a 2 return off the bat. Most people aren't going to hear that other version. Like, they're all coming to me like, I have to talk to XYZ about this, and I'm not going to get it approved by my husband or my spouse or my mom or whatever it may be. And I'm like, I get that. So I started my business with $50, and I started it on Etsy, and I started it without MailChimp Pro and all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, so I do say, yeah, you can start it on a shoestring budget with a shoestring way to test the concept. Etsy, I think, is a good way to at least test the concept.
To test.
Are you on Etsy?
Yeah. I was never on Etsy in the beginning.
Etsy was a bit past you starting.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't around in a big way when I started, but I know
it just
now,
came out when I was a kid.
I know now it's got the power of the search engine and traffic out of the gate. So it doesn't hurt to have your products on Etsy. It's a way to kind of build the momentum if you can't afford to start out with a Shopify website or another platform like that. Although everyone that's been around Brandon and I long enough knows that we love Shopify. And
so with Etsy, I think the thing is, it hit a peak with like anybody can make money, and now it's kind of like, if you make money exclusively on Etsy because of Etsy, you are the exception, not the rule. Like, I see brands that are kind of like very hipsterish, very on trend and style. Like, they are, people want to be them. And so that's why they're so big on Etsy, because Etsy is a social media platform now. I mean, it's kind of like Pinterest.
It is. It's got the power of the search engine behind it. So definitely. But one of the questions that I get asked over and over and over by clients, and I know you do too, And that's, how do I find products, or how do I start if I don't have the money to invest in products? And I think one of the greatest things that's available right now is drop shipping. You can pretty much find anything you want to sell on Google by searching drop shippers that will pick a product, any product that you want.
And then you could test your idea and your brand and your message. That's how we started. If I shared my personal Instagram profile a couple days ago with my people for the first time, and I have like 7,700 followers or something. And I was like, oh my God, they're going to see my personal stuff. They would all scroll through, and I have like 1,000+ images on my personal that I never show anybody. And they were all looking at my old candle pictures from like 2012 when I was drop shipping candles. And I was like,
we all start somewhere, and everybody starts with zero. And so it's a process. And, but yeah, the drop shipping makes it so easy. So for example, say you want to sell baby clothes, because I'm here babysitting my grandkids, as you can tell by the cute artwork behind me. Mm-hmm. So I could go to Google and I could find drop shippers of baby clothing. Okay. Then I could go for $39, I could set up a website for Shopify. The baby clothing company that was going to drop ship for me.
You can't do that on Etsy. You can't drop ship on
Etsy. Nope.
That's the thing.
But you can do it on Shopify. So then I would get the artwork from the company that was going to drop ship for me, so that I had the images to put in the shopping cart, and I would put those products in the shopping cart. Then you could get the free MailChimp so that you can communicate with your customers, set up a landing page so that you can start collecting names and start pushing it out there to your social networks. So you're collecting names, you have a way to communicate, and you've got a website set up with baby clothing or baby
Shopify
or
actually has a new pricing plan too. You said $39, and it used to be really expensive, but now it's $9. It's $9 a month to start. They have a new light plan.
Wow.
And we started on Shopify with the light plan. Wax Crumble started with the light plan. I think it was there's a limit to how many listings you can have, and we had like 50+, but I think it was like 15 listings or 20 listings, and that's a lot for when you're just starting.
I think we probably had too many SKUs, and that's why I didn't even do it. But so if you can start with 15 for somebody that just has a few, that's a nice way to do it.
That's everything. You get Shopify's name off and all that. It's $9 a month.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's just easy to find products. And then there's also, if you live in an area so you don't have to travel, that has trade shows available, you can buy products. You don't even have to do private label. All you have to do is buy products if you can afford to buy a few products, and don't use a drop shipper, because you'll make a better margin if you buy someone else's products wholesale.
Always. So, and I want to add on to the question of Etsy too, because I sold on Etsy and Shopify both at the same time for a couple months at a time. And I spent more money on Etsy hosting than I did Shopify hosting. And I paid $29 a month plus a couple applications. I think it's like $50 a month. Mm-hmm. After Etsy takes its extra percentages, after Etsy takes its 20 cents a listing, after Etsy takes this and your firstborn child, you're paying like 80. I would pay like 200 something bucks a month for my Etsy. And I was like, that's just not worth it. Yeah. It's not worth it. Etsy's not bringing in the sales. I'm bringing in the sales.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why I cut mine off. And it's kind of, if you know what to do, easier to sell on Shopify.
Yeah, it is. And you know what's one of the mistakes that I see a lot as I'm working with clients, and that's they think they have to have a lot of stock to start. So I see people buy huge amounts of inventory, want to have everything perfect before they start selling. And meanwhile, the inventory is getting older and older and older and more obsolete. As we know, trends change, things change, products change. I
had that worry too when I started. And I wish I knew you, because I can go back and be like, just pick 12 and don't buy like a bunch of mini little supplies for 50 different cents. Buy a bunch of big supplies cheaper for 12 different cents, and it consistently pimp those cents down.
Or you find somebody whose products you want to buy wholesale, get a couple of them, and you can always order more when they start to sell, but at least you can find out what people want, which leads me to the story about the lotion back in the day that you're talking about. So for example, once you really get going, you just need to find out what people want and what works.
Listen up, everyone. Listen to this one.
This was funny. So as my business was scaling and getting bigger and bigger and bigger, what I would do instead of going into production and developing products and then going with those finished products to the buyer and say, oh, I have this candle or I have this lotion I want you to buy, I would do mock-ups. And I would put together a trend report and take those mock-ups in to the buyer. And so Brandon's referring to a case where I wanted to do a couple of new fragrances in a spring line, but I hadn't gone into production yet. But the buyers that I was working with buy so far ahead that I learned the trick early on. I don't have to go into production. I don't have to have finished goods. I would get the bottle I wanted, make the label I wanted, and then I would put stuff in the jar and the fragrance that I wanted, and I would take it in and show the buyer. But what Brandon's referring to on this spring line, I just went and got lotion from Bath & Body Works and squeezed it in the jar so that I had the color and the viscosity
Same
and the
sense,
fragrance
for the record.
and fragrances.
You know, in the industry, you can buy the scents. If you look behind me, there's your bottles right here. And a lot of these are from the same exact suppliers as Bath & Body Works. So, I mean, it's same stuff.
All of a sudden, I can't hear you. What happened?
You can't hear me?
I can't hear you.
I can hear me.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Do you guys hear me?
Huh.
Okay.
Huh.
It's us. What is with us today?
Okay.
We've had some issues.
Yeah, we did.
Now you can hear me?
Now I can.
What is with that?
I don't know. Anyway, so it was so funny with the mock-ups. So I just wanted the color and the fragrance, but then I would take it in. And, you know, I would show the buyers probably 10 things for every 2 they bought. So it didn't make sense to go into production on everything. I could do a mock-up. And so then they would pick what they wanted. And once they wanted it, then I could go manufacture. And that way I didn't have to go into production. I didn't have to have inventory and all that stuff way far ahead. But then keeping in mind, simplifying that down to just beginning, you could just do that with having 1 or 2 of each item you wanted to sell in stock or drop shipping just to find out what works, because there's no point in buying a ton of stuff to stock when you figure 20% of your SKUs are going to be 80% of your volume always. And it works.
Always.
And it works.
We both said always at the same time.
Yeah.
That was the first thing I learned when I met Becky, because I was this scared little boy and I got on with her and I'm like, oh my God, this multimillionaire candle lady wants to talk to me. And the first thing she says, did you have 70 cents in your one guy? And I'm just like, I thought I needed that. She's like, which ones sell? And I was like, well, there's like these top 8 that actually bring in all the money. And she's looking at me.
Yep.
She's like, boy, cut that out. And I did. And you know the story. I went from $3K a month to $6K a month to $12K a month.
Yep. 20% of
80-20 rules everything.
It does.
And there's a question on the side.
Yeah.
From Laura. It is, I'm hearing Scott's Marketplace is the new Etsy. Now, I've looked into them and I've commented on their stuff and I played with them, and I'm pretty sure it's just the new eBay. It's like an indie eBay because you can sell anything. It's not just handmade. Yeah, people have like TVs on it. It's for local selling. So I can go on there and I can shop for American stores or places in the Kansas area. I didn't really like it too much. I was like, oh, that's pointless.
What's it called? Scott's what?
Scott's Marketplace. I thought it was the new Etsy too. I thought it was an Etsy thing, and I'm like so done with Etsy, and I want something more that was if you're from Etsy's early on stages, you know how the community was just niched and awesome. And it was really easy to get sales. It was much easier because you can get so much more feedback. It was a community. It was more tight knit.
Yeah.
Not today. So I was like, is this going to be the new one? I would love to join in on that. No, it's just a local little.
You've got to do a lot of SEO to make it Etsy successful.
Etsy is now, it's not the cute little thing we remember it to be growing up. It's a big monster now. It's behemoth. It's like eBay level.
She says, would you recommend deleting Etsy products to just top performers as well? Well, I'll tell you, I know that anybody I've ever worked with, and as long as I've been in business and had products, it's the same formula always works. 20% of your SKUs are always 80% of your volume. So I call it fly to the roots that make money. Do more of what works, less of what doesn't.
Always write that one down.
I always had my core line, my everyday line with, say, 12 fragrances in it or something like that. Then you would rotate seasonally in, the monthly fragrance of the month or the seasonal or whatever. But it was always those core ones. And then you can always be rotating the bottom 10% out as they're not working and trying and seeing if you
Right.
can get
With
something
Etsy,
else to raise to the top. But I would not have too many SKUs on Etsy. I absolutely would not.
people used to think that having a number of SKUs, like having hundreds of SKUs, was really healthy for their stores. No. I was like such an Etsy addict for a while. So with Etsy,
Yeah.
would you recommend deleting products to just the top performers? If you don't sell something in a 6-month period, it disappears anyway.
Yeah.
So let it disappear. When things disappear, you don't bring them back.
If you
They
have
don't.
inventory, you want to get your cash back and get something else. She says, I have lots
Right.
of holiday that sells well in fourth quarter. I have 160 products now, so that helps. Good. That
One thing I used to do that worked really well for testing SEO, because like Becky said, SEO is the game on Etsy because it's another eBay now. You can do so. Take your best sellers, take your 3 best sellers, and make like 3 different listings for the same exact thing 3 different times, because Etsy's a big marketplace. Doesn't matter. It's just multiple hooks. But then change the copy up in each of them. Maybe change the photos up in each of them. And you keep doing that and see which ones perform best. And eventually, one's going to outperform very highly in comparison to other ones, and that's huge.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, well, what questions do we have on? Before we dig in too much on this.
The stories and stuff.
Yeah.
But Etsy is a good place to start. It is.
It really
if you're
is.
like really scared to jump into all the tech stuff because it's confusing, and if you don't have the time, Etsy can save you some money and some time, I guess, if you're just getting started and testing
So's
out.
Amazon and so's eBay, depending on where
Yeah.
you are. So like in Australia, I have a lot of clients in Australia. They don't have Amazon big like we do, but eBay is super
Do
big.
they not? How do they live?
It's, you know what? It's just so far away in the shipping and all that.
I have so many Amazon packages coming just today. Like,
Yeah, I know. I know. You younger generation especially does everything on Amazon.
I live on it. Yeah.
Yeah, my daughter that's here that I'm babysitting her kids, she has everything auto ship from Amazon. The diapers,
Yes.
the toilet paper, the dish soap.
The buttons next to the washing machine that you click to have things sent in and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I live.
Yeah, Amazon is a game changer. That is for sure.
So if you're jumping on Shopify for the first time, because I just opened my store on Shopify is on the side right now. Remember that the only point of getting on Shopify is that you own the store and you can collect the leads. Etsy, the biggest downfall is that eventually you will pay more, even if it's minuscule, but you can't collect the leads. There's no lead collection. It's a social platform. Any traction you get on that could be ripped away from you any second.
Same with Amazon. You definitely
Always, yep.
ship,
And
but
eBay.
you don't have the contact information. So the main objective with Shopify is, like Brandon said, it's for list generation and building your own.
Say it. Go ahead, say it. Anyone can get to buy.
Anybody can
But
get
can
the
you get the
order. No, anyone
can get the order. I'm always messing it up, but same
Can you
concept.
get the reorder? And once you have the customer's information,
Then you can get the reorder.
Yeah, because you can communicate with them. And in order to have a successful business, you have to have a way to communicate with your customers.
SKU numbers are not something you really need if you're starting out to even think about. With Shopify, you can just type them in. So SKU numbers, do you have anything to say on that? Because you actually,
the
like,
reason-
obviously you have, you're a SKU queen.
Yeah, the reason that you would want a UPC code, or what we call the SKU numbers, the UPC codes, so that your products can be scanned at a register if you are wholesaling your inventory. If you sell on Amazon, you will need a SKU number, but the way to get them without having to buy the big packet to have your own, if you're going to have a lot of SKUs, you can just go get online. eBay has a lot of them where you can just buy assigned numbers for somebody that's making a business out of UPC codes. But if
There's actual businesses dedicated to it.
so, like, to sign up to get your own SKU number when you're going to do a lot of SKUs, the first is at 6 or so digits in a UPC code are always the same, and that's the identifier of the business. Then it's the ones behind it that give you what the product is. So when you sell to big box retailers or wholesalers that scan or something like that, you have to have those. But if you don't want to invest I think it's probably even up to $1,000 now. It used to be like $600 to get your own parent identifying number where you can.
When you're
go
ready to
generate.
like ship that much stuff out to a store, you hire somebody to
Yeah.
do it.
So,
I'm already like, nope, I'm not doing it.
so you can go to eBay and you can put in, or you can just go to Google and say, where do I purchase UPC numbers? And they will give you some. So anyway, the people that have started it, they'll take that parent number and then they'll put these other ones out and sell them. So it's not going to be that parent number that's you, but still it's an identifier that only you will have, that they won't sell to somebody else. So at least you have a UPC number if you want it. If you're doing your own shop, you're shipping yourself, you don't have to have a UPC code. You just need an item number. And you can literally make your item numbers up. Use a system that works for you, you know, and I always just, you know, we just made them up. Like you'd start with the 100
We make them up.
Yeah.
On like Shopify, you have the insert box.
Yeah.
And it prints out on the receipts and stuff so everyone can find the stuff.
And you can either call it what it is if you don't have a lot of SKUs, or you can make up a running total. Like where we had so many SKUs, I would have the 100 series would be 9-ounce candles. The 200 series would be, you know, and so then, and so on all the way down. So then you would just.
I can't even imagine shipping things out of your warehouse. That would have been hell.
we had 3,000 SKUs in that warehouse.
Oh no! I can barely I could show you my table of SKUs, and I can barely manage those on restock day.
Let's not forget, I started in the kitchen. Then I moved to the garage. Then I moved.
I want to hear your kitchen story too, and your garage story, and your barn story.
And then I moved. Yeah. So
a lot of people ask me, like, I don't want to just open up a mall store like Becky did. That's not what Becky did.
So what I did with the lotions, when I started doing my own lotions, I bought the lotion. This is no joke, unscented in the gallons. And then I bought the dye and I would color it. And then I bought the fragrance and I would fragrance it. And then I would put a pump on it.
You, Becky J. Anderson, shaking in the barn.
Yep, this was in the kitchen, shaking in the
kitchen,
and
shaking in the kitchen.
This is no joke. Don't forget those 4 little girls I had. I lined them up at the kitchen table or at the bar in the kitchen with they each had a gallon, and this is child labor. Pump, pump, pump.
Love it.
Taught the kids how to work. That was for sure.
Learn the value of the dollar.
Yeah, and it's so funny. Now they're old and grown up, and we get together at Thanksgiving or something. They tell the story. Oh, Mom, I would come home and just go, I'm going to hide on the side of the house so I don't have to go in and pump lotions.
That's hilarious. They knew.
They pump lotions. Then we laid
because that's where it's easy to forget. That's where you started. You were not pouring candles in your kitchen.
That was the Bath and Body. I started in Bath and Body, and the way I got into candles was a real fluke because Bath and Body is what made me. I built that business. The Bath and Body business was well over $2 million before I ever started candles.
Which is not bad, guys.
Not bad.
Not at all.
It started with the lotion and then, you know, you just kind of evolve. Like you're evolving to Mr. Tin. I evolved.
Yeah, you went to the garage. You went to the garage next. Because I'm in the garage now.
And we lived on a farm and I had a barn across the street. Then I went to the barn. In each stall, we cemented the stalls. Got rid of
Becky.
Got rid of the horses, cemented the stalls, and each stall was a fragrance. So this was kiwi mango, this was kiwi mango, and this was, you know, so vanilla.
I did not hear that one before. Yeah. You had horses and you got rid of them? Okay.
Yeah. So I had 6 stalls, and then we put heating and air conditioning out there. And this is no joke. The kids would make so much fun of me. They're like, Mom's going to the barn, and I'm like, no, I'm going to the warehouse. And I even painted it green because it was red, and I wanted the kids to quit making fun of me and calling it the barn.
That's hilarious.
I should pull all those old pictures and put them on my website. That whole story.
You need to.
I know.
You need to. You need to. I will make frames for the photos for you. It'll all be it'll be beautiful. Question on the side, Becky. How long was it from when you started to when you sold the Bath and Body for everybody?
I started for everybody in 1995. I sold it in 2011. But the funny thing is, though, it started as Bath and Body, but it was it started in 95. So it was 2000 I got into candles in a big way. And the way I got into candles was a fluke because I was meeting with Mervyn's buyer, and Mervyn's is out of business. At the time, they had 267 stores, and we sold Bath and Body to them a lot. We had a lot of space there. And she said, I want to add candles to the mix.
And you're like, I can do candles.
You never say no to a buyer. You know,
damn right.
To a buyer. I say you don't turn down business. You find a way, just like the rain gutter story, which will be next. So Brandon loves that one. But
oh my God.
But yeah, so I hired somebody to pour candles for me, and it was the night before they were supposed to start pouring the candles. they called me up and said, we can't pour your candles because our biggest customer feels threatened by you. And we don't want to risk losing them. And I'm like, I can't tell Mervyn's no. So I said, well, you just put me in the candle business, buddy. You just lost a lot of business and you just put me in it. And you know, it was interesting.
That's beautiful. Thank God they did.
A year later, they were out of business. It was interesting.
Because you don't turn down business.
And that it should have.
You don't tell other buyers about other purchases either. That is just not okay.
So I started, all of a sudden, half the barn was now candles. And remember, we lived on an apple farm. So the apple bins were turned upside down, and I had all the candle things sitting there, and we were hand pouring and hand wicking the whole bit. And it was so hilarious.
How many?
Well, at the time, you think about it, I started doing the candles for Mervyn's, 267 stores, and we were doing that.
And this is when you were in the barn still. Yeah. Did you have a physical store yet? When did the mall come into play? And where were you manufacturing?
The mall was in play at the time, but this was all the manufacturing was in the barn at this point. But when the order started getting so big, that's when I knew I had to go automated. And I went and rented a 5,000 square foot space. And I remember driving my car into it going, oh, I hope this doesn't make me bankrupt. This is a big, huge stretch for me. And going, oh my God, am I ever going to fill this up? And that's when I bought my first line. And you just find a way to do what you have to do. I knew I needed to automate. I knew I needed to scale. So I found an engineer in Boston that flew out, and we figured out how to put together a manufacturing line. So we had just one line, and as the story goes, I went from that. Where did he go? Do you guys see Brandon?
Oh, crud! It's happening again. I bet.
Am I locked out, or is Brandon? You see Brandon? All of a sudden, Brandon's disappeared. Do I need to refresh?
I can see her perfectly. Oh, poo-poo.
Both look fine. Can you hear me? I can't hear Brandon at all. And it says that he's blocked by a firewall. No, you can see in here. Huh. I'm going to go out.
Firewall? Okay. Welcome to the Brandon Show, everybody.
Okay. Brandon, you go out real quick.
Do you hear me now?
Because I can't see or hear you. That's crazy. It's a Dallas thing. It must be, since I'm at my daughter's house. Okay, Brandon.
How about now?
There we go.
Echo. Okay, no, it's gone.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't see you. All of a sudden, it said blocked by a firewall.
Huh. All of a sudden, you're not in my headphones. Wait, talk?
I'm here. Hello. Hello.
Now you're over there.
Okay. I know, this is really technology glitch.
Do you guys hear an echo? I'm going to wear these anyway, just in case. What a crazy day. I'm so done with all this jumping around.
Mercury retrograde, as they say.
You've seen my sticker.
The answer to everything, I'm telling you. So where were we in the story now that we've lost all that?
Well, I was asking when the mall store came into play, because that's the big jump everyone's asked about. Like, where were you manufacturing when you signed the lease?
No,
a 10-year lease.
I actually started in retail. I really did. I just started buying products wholesale and selling retail.
Oh, that's right. So you weren't even making in the kitchen yet.
Right. And it was after a year of being in the store that people were asking for things that I couldn't buy wholesale.
And this is another question, because a lot of people think they need to DIY, and they do not need a DIY.
No,
a lot of people don't want a DIY. Mm-hmm.
So then I knew that when I was having stuff that I couldn't buy wholesale, I had to go purchase.
And the margin by making your own eventually is just so enticing.
Oh, yeah. She's reminded me that the engineer from Boston setting up the line. So that building that I bought the 5,000 square feet in ended up being that same location. We branched out to 125,000 square feet.
Wait.
Over time.
So the people who wouldn't sell to you, you took their building eventually?
Sure did.
Oh, that's so good. That is so good.
They were out of business.
Big sticker coming up, guys. Never turn down business.
Which leads us to your rain gutter story, Brandon.
Well, I was asking the lines. So you didn't buy lines pre-made because those were like $20,000 a piece. You had them made.
No, they're more than that. Yeah, no, we did
small house.
Eventually, we had 5 or 6 lines in that building. So we just kind of grew. But you know what, though? We didn't go crazy. We went one line at a time as we were expanding. So you grow as you can pay for it and as you can
try to live below your means. Try to manufacture below your means.
Right. And I did everything on a shoestring, even in getting manufacturing equipment, as you've seen in that video of mine with the old milk truck.
Yes. See, even that video, the whole thing is kind of focused on that you didn't just come out of nowhere with this big wad of cash and build a business by buying your way into it.
Let's not forget, my husband wouldn't sign anything with me when I started. I was on my own. He made fun of me, Becky's little thing. And that's why
doesn't he work for you now?
He sure did. So
to the video.
It was, you have the video link. I don't have that.
I'm looking to it.
There's the mailman. Paul's saying to me, remind them I wasn't the husband that wouldn't help.
Oh, was it not Paul? Was it not Paul?
No, that wasn't.
Oh, bless your heart, Paul. My poor pal. We've all been making fun of him.
I know. He's a sweetheart. My Paul is a sweetheart.
I just posted the video link, guys. I probably watched this video like 20 times. I made my boyfriend watch it. Like, I love this video. It's very inspiring. So have you refused to sign for Paul now? It's not Paul.
No, it's not. It's not Paul. But anyway, so I built on a shoestring. I built it all the way, up. So, you just do one thing at a time as you can do it, which,
it's a mindset that you carry from the start.
So don't forget, I started pumping lotions in the kitchen and having the kids pump them. And then before you knew it, it takes time, but you just get out there and hustle and sell.
So one of the questions is, what is the business that you sold? Now, this is for everybody. Was it making candles by the time you sold?
Okay, so what happened with the big business, it started as Bath and Body, and I'm getting sidetracked here. So as I branched into candles, I got into candles because Mervyn's wanted candles sitting next to the Bath and Body. And the candles, I just had like 6 or 8 fragrances that matched those colors of the Bath and Body. And before you knew it, those candles, I put them in my lineup and started exhibiting them at the shows. And the sales of the Bath and Body products started going, I shouldn't say they started going down. They just weren't growing like the other products. And so within a couple of years, we had completely pivoted. And even though our name was For Everybody, we were no longer in Bath and Body. Candles is what we were known for.
But your candles were for everybody. Like, everybody can have one.
Yeah. So we were a candle company and just completely pivoted out of Bath and Body. So hence Brandon is wanting to get in Bath and Body now. So I know all the sources and how to help him get there.
I know, we're expanding the opposite way. Yeah. And before we jump into more, I didn't show you guys my prop yet. So I wanted to do a book inspired candle line because there's like a dozen different people doing them right now. And I was like, I could do them so much better because I'm Brandon. And so I wanted to do a line, and $1 from each one's going to go to like students in need and stuff like that. So I can give back as well. And so there's this beautiful candle you see here. And it is fake. It's not real. It smells like crayons. So the wick is actually only an inch big. It's a
This is a mock-up to sell. See,
it's a mock-up. I have Becky actually. I was telling her about the idea, and I showed her the labels that I made, and I'll show you the labels. And she was like, "Brandon, you need to get pictures of it now, so you can start pimping it out now." She didn't use the word pimping. That's my thing. Yeah. I was like, I could do that. And so I put that together because I had the jars come in the mail. Today I get all the supplies, so I'll be getting to work as soon as we get off of this. But perfect.
So you can get the real stuff going. Yeah, that's awesome.
So I want to get in because everyone else is playing so small, and I'm like, no, I don't want to play small. I want to get into like Barnes and Nobles,
and
which is the biggest bookstore.
You can, and I know the buyer there too. So
see, there you go. I'm there.
Yeah, so you just have to have this story, and you have to have the theme that you're going to go in and show them, and why they need to sell it, and You know,
we had an immediate mission too, that whole $1 per candle going to students in need with books and supplies and stuff like that. And I don't have kids. You know, you can build businesses without trying to think of your life's passion and things that are going to help you. You don't have to be addicted to something like that. My story with Wax Crumbles was the whole anti-suicide because it stemmed from my story. But it doesn't have to happen like that. If you haven't had anything like that in your life that you can apply to a business, just do something else, because by having a mission, it helps so much.
Yeah, it does.
Becky is my Yoda, and I have been known to say that. She is my Yoda.
And he's my kid. He's my kid. I will not be at the Dallas Gift Show in June. I'm in Dallas right now, though.
I know. She's a little early.
Yeah, I'm babysitting in Dallas. Can I tell you the 1 a.m. feedings and the 5 a.m. feedings are...
Oh, no.
They're fun.
Oh, no. So what was the next topic we were getting to? Now, today's topic is how to start your business on a shoestring budget, because we both did that. Now, remember to go ahead and share that out with your peeps. Comment on our Facebook post. And if you don't have, if you're not in our Facebook group, you can do so by clicking the link I'm posting right now. It's the e-commerce show. And if you're not on our list, go ahead and check out our brand spanking new website, the ecommerce.show. Click sign up and you can get notifications at every show and some funny little jokes that we only ever talk about in our emails. Also, you can check back on our shows by clicking the blog and viewing the top post right there and viewing a little index of all the shows we talked about. So back onto the topic, shoestring budgets.
Exactly. And so it's called a phrase that I say, and I've always used, it's called use your resources. Somebody knows what you need to know. And it's just finding that person and asking enough people. And so, and you can do it on a shoestring budget in the fact, Brandon, tell them the story about the rain gutters, how you're going to use rain gutters.
Okay. So I came to Becky with a little problem I had, and we pour the wax out first before we crumble it and throw it through that process. It has to be just a block of wax. Now we have pans. They're kind of behind me. You can, these little blue pans right here. You can, right there. You see they're small. Each little block is a pound. And if you pour over, it spills. It's just a messy process when you're selling thousands of bags a month. So
it worked when you were small.
So it worked when I was small. And I came to Becky. I didn't think she'd have a solution for this. That's when the rule always listen to Becky.
That's when Evan was born.
I didn't think you were going to have a solution at all. And I hit you with the question. And she's just like, wall of text. She's like, so I was with this dilemma before, Brandon. And I told her how I did the process. And it's basically like soap cutting. And so she goes, when I was making soap, I had this order that came in. Whole bunch of soap bars. I had been making them at these loaf pans with these fat ends I had to cut off and all this kind of stuff. It was just not logical to do it the same way for this giant order I got. And I'm like, okay, do you have a solution? And she's like, wait, my child. And she's looking out the window. This is my favorite part. I could put it on a sticker. I could put it on a t-shirt. She's looking out a window and she's thinking about her problem. And she's in her office and it's raining outside. And she thinks to herself, fucking rain gutters. And so that's my little phrase now, fucking rain gutters. And she goes and she buys rain gutters and she has to cut down and she puts the end caps on them, fills them up with soap and has soap bars in bulk. 10-foot long bars that can't really be over poured. What? I'm mine cut by 5 foot and putting them on my 6-foot tables, pouring them out. It's just going to, like, my life got so much easier. So 2 things. Fucking rain gutters. Always listen to Becky. That's the rain gutters.
Or there's a solution to every problem. You just have to
that too.
think it through. You just think it through.
Look out the window and just scratch your chin.
Challenges or opportunities. Did you get the baby asleep? Score. Come say hi, Paul. He got the baby asleep.
You said score.
He got the baby asleep while I was on Blab. You know what's so funny? The 3-year-old here. He has this show that he loves. It's Transylvania something or other, where it's the
Hotel
vampire.
Transylvania.
Yes, and the vampire, and they have the baby. And so he can't say Hotel Transylvania. So when he tells us what show he wants to watch, he says blah, 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 blah. Because when the baby in that show is born, it says blah, blah, blah. So now Paul's like Grandma's going to do her blah, 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 and we're going to take a nap.
That's what we're doing. That is what we're doing.
We're doing our blah, blah, blah. And Grandpa got the baby to sleep.
I know you guys are such like the cutest little teenage like couple. Score. What amount would you budget to start Shopify? That's a good question.
How much does it cost to start? $9.99 a month.
No, $9 a month flat.
$9 flat. So if you were starting with just nothing, you could start with the $9, the free MailChimp, and drop shipping.
And Shopify has a 14-day free trial. It costs nothing. You don't have to put card information either. So you can play around with it if you don't, just see if you even like it. And it's worth it. So I would say put $30 down in a little account. So you could have 3 months of Shopify like planned out, 3-month test for anything. Mm-hmm. And then your products, obviously, that should probably cost anywhere from $50 to $100.
Yeah.
So plan $150, put it to a side. Anyone can save $150. Anyone.
Yep, they can. They can, especially if you give up the lattes for a little bit or something like that.
Just a little bit of lattes.
A little bit, since Brandon's a coffee fan.
I buy my coffee in a big, like, I buy it cold pressed in a big jug. Yeah. I've learned the ways.
Just not a coffee drinker.
Are you really not a coffee drinker? I did not know that. I love my coffee. I can't live without it. I can't drink it on the day before the show because I won't sleep. Like I'll drink it all throughout the day. At night, 8 o'clock, I'm drinking coffee. I can't do it on Mondays because I have shows on Tuesdays.
Because you have to sleep. So you can.
I know. I do though. I commit.
Just how much would you estimate you're paying for the extra Shopify apps monthly?
About $30 for me.
Yeah. I think Paul's probably about the same.
And that's a lot of apps. They're all perfect and they work and I don't need anything else.
Yeah, and somebody asked what product I'm doing now. Paul's just doing the oam-solutions.com now.
I'll pull
and
that.
I do consulting at beckyjanderson.com now, helping hubby build his brand. He's come up with this awesome odor eliminator he's doing. And he and Brandon
I made a logo.
Yeah, he and Brandon are doing their little we need to do another refresh where you guys are doing.
Yeah, that should be the next show. We should do an update on it because I've been playing with Paul's brand because you guys know I'm addicted to designing all the time.
Yes, and Paul is eagerly awaiting to get all that.
So what questions do you guys have before we close out? I think that's everybody's stories. Well, my story, I started Wax Crumbles. I'll tell that story. So I had like $50 in my pocket and I was like just getting through this big depressed phase. And I went downstairs with my mom and I was like, let's start a candle company. It wasn't Wax Crumbles yet. It was just, let's start a candle company. And even back then I knew it should have a cause behind it. For me, I think everything I make should have a cause behind it. So the company was Little Pink Candle and it was breast cancer research is where the dollar for every candle would go. And we made pink candles and we ordered pink dye. We ordered some oils and I ordered like cheap, like ounce oil bottles. It was such a funny time. And I ordered like wax by the 10-pound little baggie. It was, and I was making like votives and stuff. And we did that for like a month and a half. And that was like a $50 shoestring startup. Mm-hmm. And by the time Wax Crumbles came into play, I didn't have to put startup money into it because I had candles already made. And what I did was I actually blended a candle up. I don't blend Wax Crumbles anymore. That's not how they're made. Yeah. But that's what I did at the time. So I was just using the resources I had around, and then it kind of grew organically. But the candle company is what I started first. And that was under $50 because we only needed one color. We only needed like 3 different scents. We started very small. And obviously, it worked out.
Yeah. Look where he is now. Doing awesome. Someone says, when's our next club? Oh, by the way, tomorrow Bonnie's picking up her son from college. So we probably won't be doing tomorrow, but we will be on the e-commerce show.
Good question.
We will be back every Tuesday at...
Every Tuesday. Can't get rid of us.
11 o'clock Eastern. Every Tuesday. And we have the...
It's so confusing. Yeah. It's 10 o'clock for me. And so I'm like, 11 o'clock. Oh, wait, no, it's 10 o'clock.
I know. I'm in a different time zone than normal right now. It's 10:40.
Are you in my time zone?
Yeah, because I'm in Dallas.
Oh,
hello. I'm normally in Mountain Zone. So, yeah, I'm having to adjust my calendar a little bit. But next week, for the next couple of weeks, we're going to be talking about how to keep your sales going in the J months and what to do to prepare.
Oh, yeah. We're having a JMOs episode, everybody.
Yeah, the slow summer lag, because business tends to go down in the summer. So you want to be able
I'm so excited for that.
step.
Remember, if you want to watch the JMOs episode, to sign up on the ecommerce.show.
Yeah.
And click the community button to join our Facebook group.
Yeah, you don't want to miss out on the Facebook group, because lots of good stuff goes on in there, and lots of tips and tricks, and really good camaraderie there. Everybody likes to share, which is good. But
That's a good question about Instagram. I did not start on Instagram. Instagram's when I took off. So I had Little Pink Candle for like a month and a half, and then about 2.5, 3 months of Wax Crumbles. I flew out here to Kansas to visit a friend, and I started really playing around with Instagram, because I had no computer. I was playing with just my phone for a while, and I got really into it. And I had got like 3,000 followers in like a week's time. I was down to Instagram, and things took off. Oh my God, what's going on?
The baby woke up already.
I believe it. Paul just comes in. It awoke.
That was a 5-minute nap.
That's beautiful. Power napping at that young age. He's going to be an entrepreneur.
Oh, he is. What was the secret to getting the initial follower?
We did 3 episodes on that, and it's always the same. I did the follow for follow method. I made sure my account was made to kind of accept those follows. You know, I made it so it was kind of congruent and looked alike, and I encourage people to follow me, and I encourage people to sign up on the website. How many times I got to say that? Go to the website.
Yeah.
Because the whole point of the Instagram leads, the only reason it worked is because people were traffic. Instagram was traffic, and they got onto the website, and they signed up, and they joined the email list, and then anyone can get the order, but can you get the reorder?
Anybody can get the order. Yep.
I did it right that time.
You sure did. You sure did.
Thank you.
Yes, he has a nice story. He's done very well. And the kid is 20 today, for those that have joined us.
I don't feel 20. It's weird.
I know.
It's so weird. I'm officially 20. Like, the birth hour is up. That's it.
Wait till you're 50-ish.
No.
Are you saying
That's my answer to that.
You saying I'm old?
So you can do it. You can do it fine. But I think I'm going to stop.
I know. I stopped at 29 till my oldest daughter turned 29. Then you kind of have to.
Then you kind of have to move on. Like, you're no longer welcome.
Yeah. So anyway, everybody make sure that you are all following us and that you've joined our group. And you can find.
If you have any other questions, go ahead and ask them up, because we have 10 more minutes.
Yeah, that is true. And I don't hear the baby screaming either.
No baby screaming. So we have 10 very precious minutes. Don't. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Looks like we don't have any questions, Brandon. You might get out a few minutes early on your birthday. Is Facebook presence a must? I think it's becoming more and more relevant with the live streaming, and statistically, it's still 74% of all traffic and businesses.
Social media platform, like it is our China. Yeah. It is the biggest there is. You can't not have one. If you're not on Facebook, you're also seen as just illegitimate, because that's usually the first people go to search for, like, reviews and for social approval and all that kind of stuff. So just to have one up. I mean, our Facebook group page, we have like 5,000, 6,000 followers and likes, but we get like no traffic or money from it.
Yeah. Somebody asked if the company I sold is still in business. The company that bought it was a competitor, and they bought the business and absorbed the brand into theirs. So it's not going by that. So the data and the website for that company are really outdated, because the people that bought it haven't kept it up. So, but yeah.
I did not know that.
Lots of big accounts, and they wanted to get, a lot of times when you sell companies, you have strategic buyers that want your accounts and your brand to get in there. So they just kind of folded it into theirs. But Brandon,
I might do that one day. Yeah, you never
Brandon
know.
Put the link to my company up there, didn't you, Brandon?
I did.
The video link is in the traffic there somewhere, so you can see what it was.
I've never used a giveaway as an opt-in. I've only ever given away 10% of because we priced high, and we give away this percentage because we want to be that brand. You want to save, that's our opt-in.
Yeah.
So, and then Instagram growth being slow. I've said this 100 times. Instagram is always changing. It was honestly easier to get a following when I started than it is now. But
it's so popular. Yeah.
Still easiest. It's the easiest place to build a following still. So don't stop. Work your ass off now because it might not even be possible to build a following tomorrow.
When I sold, did I have to agree not to compete? Yes, I did. Hence why I am not in the candle business. But my non-compete expired after 3 years.
Oh, you did a non-compete?
You have to when you sell a company typically.
And then 3 years later you came back?
Well, I stayed in the candle business in a different channel of distribution. I was only locked out of the channel that I sold to at the time. That's all. Somebody asked, what would you do for a freebie for fitness clothing? Just a percentage off is what I would do.
It's the easiest first idea until something more creative comes along. Yeah.
Yeah. Or you could do a gift with purchase, like they said, something cheaper.
Anything your customer wants.
Yeah. Anything they want.
So if you have if you know they want like a 7-minute workout, that's been really popular. Give them that. I'm not in the industry, so I can't be too creative with you, but get together with your people in your industry and think of something.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did 10%. You could do 5%. You could do 25%. It depends what your brand is. So if you want to be more exclusive on your pricing, like a discounted special, then 5 and 10%. If you want to be more like you price gouge, like Wayfair.com does, and they do, they give a big 20% off items and stuff like that, then you can do 20% off, 25% off.
Would you ever do traditional advertising newspapers? You don't get as much bang for your buck there, especially with technology where it's gone.
Yeah. Traditional advertising isn't newspapers anymore.
Yeah, I don't think I would. Magazines that stick around longer, a newspaper gets thrown away every day. A magazine will last for a month, but you can, I don't know that I'd spend money on magazine advertising. I would do the freebie ads. And we've done a whole blab on how to get PR for your brand. And
check it out
on the freebie, so it's there.
In fact, I'm going to link to our little place where you can find all of our beautiful little blabs.
Yes.
I've organized them and compiled them in a very nice little fashion.
Okay. The horses got sold.
Our own talk show, of course.
Of course, yes.
But Oprah is also nice.
Yeah. Was print marketing. I now do none. Zero, zip, nada. That is so true. It's just changed. You look at the way things have changed, like even like if you were in the photo developing business back in the day. I mean, when my kids were growing up, you had to buy a roll of film, take the pictures, go get it developed. It was expensive, so you look at how technology has evolved and all these.
That's so funny to think about.
But you look at how many different things have been affected by technology, and you have to be quick to pivot. Like, my business, I was Bath and Body. Had I not pivoted, I would have never broke that $2 million mark, and going into what you sell, what the customer wants and what they're buying. And so you have to, oh yeah, now you feel free to take bad photos, and, you can take as many as you want now. It used to be back in the day, you're like, oh, I'm gonna have to pay to develop this. Let me make sure everyone's posed perfectly.
Right. That's so funny. I can't even think of living like that. But bad photos for your website is a no-go. No bad photos on the website.
Brendan, you were born with technology in your hand. Your generation.
It's all I know. I came out and kind of just gave the doctors the hand, like, give me my phone.
I went through college with the typewriter.
I don't want to hear it. Things.
And I can't tell you how many times I stayed up till 4 a.m. because the professors, if you had whiteout to back over, they would doctor points on a paper.
No. Yes. Ew.
Yeah.
Those professors are going to a special place in hell. That is horrible.
Think about not having cell phones back in the day. You go run an errand or something, or you go on a trip and no one can get a hold of you unless you call and check in. You'd get a letter if somebody died. I mean, seriously.
Burlap Decor, you can just host it on your Shopify. Some people do it separately on a WordPress, but I've found it, like, when I do blog, I just host it on Shopify easy. Their blogging it's simple, but it works.
It does. Or pagers. Oh yeah, I remember those too.
And then Pinterest. You were on Pinterest, right?
Pinterest is a biggie.
You set it up, you leave it alone. Yeah.
No, you don't have to leave it alone. You set up Pinterest and
I set it up and leave it alone.
You want to continually be pinning 3 to 5 pins a day and adding your.
No, I can't stand Pinterest.
Yeah, you do.
I just can't stand it.
Pinterest has become such an incredible search engine. Seriously.
I never use it. That might be why I can't stand it.
Don't underestimate Pinterest, because it freaking is the bomb.com in the fact that it's a search engine and that you can find anything. My girls use it a lot for a search engine. Anything that you want to know.
I'm going to hire one of your girls.
You know how you would use YouTube a lot for search engine. Pinterest is another really good one. And when you Google things, I can guarantee half the stuff on your first page is going to be from Pinterest.
And one more in Instagram and Pinterest tip of this year, I've noticed a lot of the accounts that are just blowing up are very on point with this year's Pantone colors.
And I told you that before they ever
They are so on point. Everything is pink and blue and pastel.
Yep.
And they're just blowing up naturally. It's crazy.
And this fall, we'll have a blab show on how to predict and how to watch and figure out what the next Pantone is going to be. Because every year, the first week in December, Pantone launches their new colors of the year. And so I always like to watch the trends beforehand and predict what it's going to be. Because once it happens, then you start designing everything around it. But once it happens, the stuff's already at retail. So you want to be ahead. And the way you really sell and grow is to watch the trends and design around the trends. That's how you'll get the big accounts. The buyers will, they have storyboards, and you can get the trends about a year and a half ahead, what they are if you're watching them in the right places. So you're designing your product. So when you go in to sell it, that's what the buyers are seeing on their storyboards, and they're going, you're right on point, what I need to be. Did you ever wonder when you walk through the stores, everything kind of flows, and you're going to see the same motifs and icons on the bathhouse,
different from last year.
And it's going to change every year. And they do that at retail so that you keep going in, and you have to keep buying. And so, yeah.
So I actually set up this new desk area for doing photo. I really want to up my Instagram game because Instagram's changed a lot. And I'm going to throw this in before we end. Instagram has changed a lot. Now the best way to build Instagram is to be a very engaging, beautiful picture. It just is. Instagram pivoted from being first thing there to the prettiest there, which I guess makes sense because Instagram is a photo platform. And I'm like, okay, I can accept that. So Pantones are what's the thing. So I have set up this is my drafting table, and a drafting table is like an architecture table. It's here. My computer and all that's going to move, though, over to my desk. And this is going to be a dedicated Instagram desk. And I have these big 20-inch papers of various Pantones, colors. And that's what Pantone is. There's a question on the side there, a company that chooses the color of the year. Why? You can read it on their website.
Brandon, you know what we need to do? We need to do a show on how to design their products around the trends and what trends to watch for. Because it's not just Pantone we want you to watch for. There's also the motifs. There's going to be the fabric print, the material print, and if you design your products around the trends, you have a better chance of selling them. Yeah, and we need to do one on what are the trends going to be for 2017, so people can start thinking.
I'll say 2017.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I come from the space where we were working a year and a half ahead. And so then we would design the products around. So by the time a trend came around, I'm like, I've been looking at that houndstooth print forever.
Right. Yeah.
But now it's at retail. So yeah, we can go through all the tips, tricks, and hacks on how to design.
We should do a photo. Well, that would go into it, a photo blab, because that's what I'm doing. I'm setting up this. I'm buying this box. I put my DSLR at the top. I'm switching my Instagram to using my DSLR. Everybody, the phone's going.
Yeah.
Big 20-inch piece of paper. I'm cutting out props and I'm putting them all. It's going to be flat. It's going to be easy. And I'm going to be taking photos that are pretty and kind of designed. I'm putting more effort into it, but I'm going to be posting less and hoping that my photos get more attention per photo. So that's the plan for you guys who follow my Instagram fame. And
you're getting there, kid. Oh, he's not the kid. I just remembered it's his birthday. He's 20.
Change it up. Change it up.
What am I going to call him now? What am I going to call him now? All right, guys, at the top of the hour, and I hear a fussy baby. I bet my husband wants to get rescued.
I know, bless Paul.
Yes, Grandma is on grandma duty for another couple of days.
So before we head out, make sure you guys visit theecommerce.show. I'm linking it in the side right now. Sign up for our new subscription list. See our new website. It's pretty. And click the blog button if you want to check back and see all we've done. They're new and organized, and it's very nice. And click that community button to join our Facebook group. It's the best group on Facebook. I can vouch for it. I'm in it. Check it out. Come see us. We're very friendly. Thank you for watching the show. Make sure you follow me on Blab. Make sure you follow Becky on Blab. She's on one of these sides. You can find me at waxcrumbles.com, and you can find Becky
at beckyjanderson.com and productbizmadeeasy.com.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks,
Bye, everybody.
Bye.